over these past few years, these two have spent an obscene amount of money on interior decor. All Robyn managed to do was cost the family even more money over the years.
I just think he's always looking out for himself and now for Robyn and himself. I think he really is just kind of inherently selfish.
It started with a spreadsheet. Not a dramatic TV moment or an angry outburst, just Janelle sitting at her kitchen table with a highlighter and a gut feeling something wasn't adding up.
Janelle was worried about Robyn coming into the family with no income and that she was hopeful that Robyn would get a job, but little did she know that her hopes would be in vain.
She'd been going through statements after the Coyote Pass sale, checking numbers, doing what she's always done, trying to stay practical in a family that had never really played fair. But when she saw the name of a luxury gallery pop up not once but 6 times across 2 months, her stomach dropped. Paintings, sculptures, high-end limited edition pieces, some running into the thousands. At first, she thought maybe it was a mistake, but as the itemized charges kept scrolling, the reality hit her like a truck.
Over these past few years, these two have spent an obscene amount of money on interior decor.
Robyn had spent over $140,000 on home decor, not renovations, not furniture, not anything remotely necessary. Just trinkets and investment art, hanging in a house that was already more castle than home. And all of it, from what Janelle could tell, came straight from communal funds. It was the kind of discovery that would shake any household, let alone a family already fractured by years of financial favoritism and emotional betrayal. Now, Janelle's never been flashy. She lived in a camper for heaven's sake, hauling water, pinching pennies, making do. She wasn't asking for chandeliers or framed ocean scenes priced higher than her son's car. She just wanted what was fair. And what she found in those documents made one thing very clear.
I'm just in my mind just going, please help her to see what value I am to this family.
While she and Christine were budgeting grocery money and putting off essentials, Robyn had been shopping like she won the lottery. Janelle could barely process the numbers. Art listed at $4,600, $6,700, even a sculpture titled Spirit of the Universe for over $11,000. It wasn't just indulgent, it felt like a slap in the face, especially after years of hearing Cody claim there wasn't enough to go around. So what did Janelle do? According to insiders, she made copies. Every receipt, every charge, every questionable transfer. Then she marched right over to Cody and dropped the evidence.
All Robyn managed to do was cost the family even more money over the years.
Literally on his countertop. And the second he saw the stack, the air in that room changed, because Janelle wasn't asking questions anymore. She already knew the answer. And Cody, he knew he'd been caught. And that's when it got even messier. The countertop confrontation didn't explode right away. No yelling, no shattering plates. Just silence, icy and thick. Cody stared at the pile like it might burst into flames. Janelle, arms crossed, waited. According to a source close to the situation, Cody tried to pivot. He started with his usual playbook: deflect, downplay, distract. They're investment pieces, he allegedly said, gesturing toward a charge for a $4,200 statue titled Safe Harbor.
I mean, there's no bones about it. I was very worried about the financial, and I really did not see how the dollars and cents were going to work. And we were going to bring this person in and pay rent and groceries, and there was going to be no income coming in. I was worried.
The value will appreciate, but Janelle wasn't buying it. She pointed out that investment pieces don't get hidden in back rooms and dusted with Swiffers once a season. These weren't assets, they were luxuries, and they were bought with shared money. Money that was supposed to go toward housing for everyone, not just for Robyn. Then came the kicker. Janelle asked, flat out, "Did you use my share from the land sale?" Because the numbers matched just a little too closely for comfort. Cody reportedly said nothing. He just rubbed his face and muttered something about needing to beautify the home for resale, but Janelle wasn't having it. She knew about the staging process. She'd seen the listing photos, she'd seen what was still on the walls. Surrealist paintings, Art Deco bears, even a grotesquely expensive piece called Return to Eden priced at nearly $1,600. This wasn't resale staging, this was self-indulgence.
I used to be not so great with money when I was young. I had hard knocks. And then I learned during my divorce really how to budget myself. You just must have had a different priority of where your money was going to go than I did. That's all.
And Janelle realized this wasn't the first time. This was just the first time she had proof. What stung the most wasn't even the dollar amount. It was the pattern. The same pattern she'd watched play out for years. Robyn got the house. Robyn got the nanny. Robyn got the jewelry. The backup nanny. The winter boots from Etsy for her dolls. And now, apparently, she'd gotten the lion's share of the land profit too. What had Janelle gotten? A camper in the Arizona sun, a folding table, and a husband who disappeared the moment she asked for help. That night, Janelle didn't sleep. She sat with the receipts, circling totals in red, remembering every time Robyn claimed they were all in this together. But as the ink dried on her final circle, $148,000 on home decor, she knew better. And by morning, she was ready to take it public, because what Janelle found next, it made the art purchases look like just the tip of the iceberg. Back when the family first bought Coyote Pass in 2018, it was pitched as a dream, a blank canvas for each wife to build her own home, a united plot for a polygamous legacy. But fast forward to 2024, and that vision is just another broken promise buried in red Arizona dirt.
We are not gonna let Robyn get away with trying to insinuate that she is somehow good with money and that Janelle just doesn't have her priorities in order when it comes to money.
After years of stalling, arguing, and dodged responsibilities, Cody finally sold the land. All 14 acres of it. The sale came in at a cool $1.5 million, and that's not counting what was already poured into it. Between original investments and sunk costs, the family walked away with roughly $600,000 in profit. The idea, publicly anyway, was that everyone would get back what they'd put in. Even split. No drama. But privately, that's when the paper trail started getting murky. Janelle had her suspicions even before she saw the receipts. She'd been told she'd get her payout, but the check arrived weeks late and lighter than expected. Robyn and Cody, on the other hand, were suddenly flush, buying new furniture, upgrading jewelry, wearing designer boots to church. Janelle started asking questions, and the answers were vague. Oh, it's all being sorted. The funds are still moving through escrow. Meanwhile, Robyn was spotted on Etsy leaving glowing reviews for handcrafted doll accessories. According to Reddit sleuths, she made over 100 purchases in 2024 alone, many of them tied to her now infamous American Girl collection that's reportedly worth more than $62,000. The insult wasn't just the spending, it was the timing.
When we all first started, there was kind of like this thing. We weighed in on what bills should be paid, how we were going to pay, who got priority. And then the last several years, Cody would just take out funds and I don't know what for. And the money was just being spent, and lots of it.
Janelle had downsized her entire life. She sold her Las Vegas home, helped fund Coyote Pass, lived in a cramped apartment, then a camper, all while holding on to the dream that one day her investment would come back around. She believed in building, in sharing, in the bigger picture. But Robyn was building a doll empire and decorating her hallways with framed $5,000 prints, while Janelle was borrowing a hose from Christine to fill her water tank. It wasn't just unfair. It was theft, emotionally, if not legally. And once Janelle dug deeper into the bank transfers tied to the land sale, she realized just how much Robyn and Cody had helped themselves before the dust even settled. And that's when the trail led her somewhere even more bizarre, the doll closet. And what she found there made the decor spree look like a warm-up act. Tucked behind a locked door upstairs, far from the listing photos and clean countertops, was a room that made Janelle do a double take. It wasn't a walk-in closet or a storage nook. It was something else entirely. Lined wall-to-wall with shelving, soft lighting, and tiny velvet hangers, Robyn's doll room looked like a boutique straight out of a Victorian fever dream. And at the center of it all, rows of pristine, eerily lifelike 18-inch dolls, dressed to the nines in bonnets, ball gowns, even hand-stitched petticoats.
He's saying we were resistant to buying. It's really me. It has been me all along. That has been the one biting and kicking and screaming about the idea of buying. It's not something I have wanted to do.
To someone on the outside, maybe it looked sweet, whimsical even. But to Janelle, after tallying up the decor costs and comparing them to the receipts she'd just reviewed, this wasn't a quirky hobby. This was a vault of unchecked spending. According to fan forums and internet sleuths, Robyn had left a trail behind her online. Hundreds of reviews on Etsy, most glowing. Some detailing custom orders, many tied to niche doll designers who charge hundreds per outfit. And the total, over $62,000, just on accessories and collectibles. That didn't even include the dolls themselves or the handcrafted furniture, many of which were custom-made and shipped internationally. There were even framed Etsy art prints bearing slogans like "Dolls are my therapy," and the kicker, she wasn't shy about it. Reddit users cross-referenced usernames and even found Robyn praising one seller's historic lacework and another's heirloom-quality hand-stitching. She didn't just buy these dolls, she curated them. Janelle, who once slept in a space barely large enough for a twin bed, couldn't believe what she was seeing. She'd struggled to get funds for groceries. Christine had financed Isabel's spine surgery by selling LuLaRoe. And here was Robyn, building a museum for her American Girl collection like it was a sacred shrine. It didn't help that, when fans brought it up online, Robyn stayed silent.
Cody and Robyn shared everything. They shared the house payments, they shared the utilities, they shared everything.
No denial, no clarification. Just business as usual, as if spending more on doll shoes than Christine spent on plane tickets to the hospital was somehow justifiable. Some fans tried to defend it. It's her way of healing, one commenter posted. Everyone has their thing, And yes, that may be true. But when your thing costs $60,000 and your extended family can't afford a down payment on a house you once promised them, that's not healing. That's hoarding. And just when you think it couldn't get more surreal, Janelle uncovered who paid for Robyn's first custom doll cabinet. And it wasn't Robyn. It was Gwendolyn who said it first. At least the first to say it out loud. "They're shopaholics," she told her followers, eyes wide with a mix of disbelief and exhaustion. "I think my dad and Robyn have a terrible habit of spending very crazy and not within their means at all." And coming from a daughter who grew up inside that chaos, it hit hard. Fans nodded. Janelle took notice, because this wasn't just about art and dolls. It was about patterns, about a lifestyle that demanded everyone else sacrifice, while Robyn quietly acquired her fantasy world. And the most heartbreaking part? The kids had seen it all. They'd lived it. There was the time Cody refused to attend Isabel's surgery, calling it a vacation and acting like Christine was being dramatic. What wasn't shown on camera, but confirmed by those close to the family, is that Christine had to secure private health insurance herself and cover the bills. There was no shared pot for emergencies, no father rushing in with a checkbook, just Christine hustling LuLaRoe while her daughter prepped for a life-changing procedure. And during that same stretch of time, Robyn was buying another custom dress for a doll named Leela and leaving a 5-star review about the tiny hand-embroidered bonnet.
It seems like Robyn and Cody may have forgotten where they came from financially.
Even Mike Kelty, who's generally the peacekeeper, couldn't stay silent. In a recent live stream, she addressed Robyn's collection, gently defending it as something special tied to very important people. She called the pieces beautiful and admitted she didn't support the amount of money spent, but she supported the heart behind it. And maybe that's true. Maybe it was sentimental. Maybe it helped Robyn cope with trauma or loneliness, or the isolation that came from being the only legal wife. But even so, where was the line? Where was the financial ceiling? Because to the rest of the family, it looked like Robyn's ceiling didn't exist. It wasn't just the kids talking. Reddit threads exploded. Facebook groups posted screenshots of Robyn's Etsy purchases, comparing itemized decor to TLC filming timelines. Fans pieced together what had been hiding in plain sight. Cody and Robyn lived like royalty while the rest of the family played survival. And that royalty wasn't just symbolic, it came with David Yurman rings, crystal wall clocks, and one-of-a-kind bear sculptures. But Janelle's breaking point wasn't just seeing what they bought, it was remembering what they refused to give. Because what she found next confirmed the worst. Robyn's decor spree was bankrolled by money meant for someone else's home. The truth is, this wasn't new. It didn't start with a doll, a painting, or a $6,000 sculpture of a bear clinging to a tree. It started years ago, when Cody began making decisions that always, somehow, benefited Robyn first. The signs were there. Small at first, easy to excuse. A nicer car, a few extra upgrades, a babysitter hired just to help out. But then came the nanny.
And when I was on my own, I worked, I took care of my own money, I paid my own bills. Coming into the family and not working, it was like this huge transition of going, Cody, I need to pay a bill. You know, do I just put the bill on the counter? How do you want to work this?
During the pandemic, when Cody was refusing to visit Christine's kids unless they followed extreme protocols, quarantining, distancing, practically disappearing from their own homes, Robyn had a full-time nanny coming and going freely. It was a glaring contradiction, one Christine pointed out with barely contained rage. What does the nanny do? She asked on camera, a line that instantly became a fan rally cry. Because if the wives weren't allowed access to their husband, but a hired helper could waltz into Robyn's house, that said everything. And the financial inequities didn't stop there. Over the years, fans noticed Cody's accessories growing more and more expensive. A David Yurman pendant that retailed for over $1,100, matching signet rings, a luxury bike gifted to one of Robyn's kids, $900, while the others got barely a mention. All while Mary, Christine, and Janelle were covering their own mortgages, handling their own bills, and watching the family's shared account slowly dry up. Even when Christine sold her Vegas home, the proceeds were folded into the communal pot. But when it came time for her to cash out, suddenly Cody and Robyn claimed that money was theirs because they helped with her down payment. The mental gymnastics alone would make your head spin. And through it all, Janelle tried to stay level-headed. She was the one keeping the books, remembering who paid what, which loans were taken out when. She knew what had been promised, and she knew how much had been funneled into Robyn's world under the guise of family spending. But now, seeing it in black and white decor purchases, doll receipts, jewelry, nannies, all stacked like a paper mountain.
Problem here isn't the types of things Cody and Robyn spend their money on. It's the fact that they spent all this money on decor items for their $1 million home when Cody had financial responsibilities to 3 other households.
The picture was crystal clear. This wasn't favoritism anymore. It was a financial hierarchy. And at the top, Robyn, queen of the cul-de-sac, surrounded by trinkets, while Janelle tried to build a home from nothing but dirt and hope. But the next revelation was somehow even more enraging. Because when Janelle went back to the real estate records, she found out exactly who footed the bill for Robyn's oversized plot, and it wasn't who you'd expect. When the family first bought Coyote Pass, Cody painted the picture like it was a fresh start for everyone. 4 homes, 4 plots, equal opportunity. But behind the scenes, that division was never equal. Janelle knew the land well. She'd walked it, camped on it, even dreamed of putting her tiny home there one day. But when she revisited the parcel records in the wake of the recent sale, something clicked. Robyn's assigned portion? It was bigger, more valuable, more desirable. And guess who helped pay for it? Janelle. Not with some ceremonial agreement, but with real cash from the sale of her Las Vegas property, funneled into a communal account, back when she still believed Cody's version of family meant something. Cody had spun the narrative at the time. Robyn needed a home. The kids needed stability. It was temporary. But when it came time for Janelle to ask for that same support, she was told the funds weren't there. She'd have to wait, be patient, get creative. And by creative, Cody meant move into a trailer with no plumbing and no financial safety net, while Robyn hung $4,700 wall art next to a custom-built doll cabinet. It's no wonder Janelle's fury had nowhere to go but forward. The more she revisited the timelines, the clearer it became. Every time a financial crossroads emerged, Robyn came out ahead. She didn't just win Cody's attention, she got the bigger plot, the nicer home, the designer light fixtures. And now, with the house listed and TLC cameras conveniently kept out of frame for years, the public was finally getting a peek at what insiders had long whispered. Robyn's house wasn't just lavish, it was stuffed to the brim with luxury.
Everyone think you're in charge of the finances. I mean, everyone...
Yeah, no, this is something I've begun to realize because Cody was always telling everybody that I was somehow calling the shots on the money.
Even in the listing photos, pared down, cleaned out, strategically staged, there were still dozens of artworks on the walls, figurines dotting the shelves, and trinkets in nearly every room. But fans noticed something else too, an eerie emptiness. The house felt cold, performative, like all the money in the world still couldn't make it feel like a home. But what was missing? According to insiders, whole rooms had already been cleared out, boxed up and sent to storage, hidden away before filming or listing, which raised a darker question Janelle couldn't ignore. What else did they buy with family money that no one ever saw? Once the listing photos hit the internet, it didn't take long. Reddit lit up like wildfire. Sister Wives fans began zooming in, screenshotting, cross-referencing decor against luxury art sites and high-end collectible catalogs. One user identified a statue in Robyn's entryway, retailing for nearly $7,000. Another traced a painting, something abstract and vaguely coastal, back to a gallery that specialized in limited edition surrealist prints. It was called Spirit of the Universe, and its price tag? $11,500. And those were just the items visible in the photos. Fans knew this was a curated glimpse. Robyn and Cody had allegedly done a full purge before the listing, meaning what we saw was likely only a fraction of what they'd accumulated. Soon there were spreadsheets, collages, entire threads cataloging every figurine, canvas, and sculpture. Even the inexpensive ones, like the $280 Matrix of Love, were tallied with clinical precision. The grand total? Over $148,000. And that was without counting the price upon request pieces or the doll room, which was mysteriously absent from the listing entirely. This wasn't just a few indulgent purchases. It was a pattern of excess, funded at least in part by money that belonged to a larger family, many of whom were still digging themselves out of financial holes.
He just always somehow thinks he's somehow entitled to more, which is just, it's astounding.
He just takes care of himself. He sees what he needs to do, and he just does what is right for him and what is right for Robyn. And I think that he's going to screw Mary and Janelle completely.
Meanwhile, Christine's daughter Gwen reminded followers that she'd received just a few $1,000s from her dad as back pay for appearing on the show. Enough to fix her car, she said. That's it. One figurine on Robyn's shelf, a grinning bronze bear titled Ursa Major, cost more than Gwen received for years of filming. Fans were outraged. And it wasn't just the spending, it was the optics. The cold, hard disconnect between Robyn and Cody's curated lifestyle and the very public struggles of the rest of the family. Janelle, now seeing the firestorm unfold online, stayed quiet, but insiders claimed she was paying attention. Screenshots had been circulating, DMs were exchanged. She wasn't the only one with receipts anymore. Fans were digging up what TLC had never shown, and they weren't letting it go. And with whispers of a possible Cody and Robyn only spin-off, the timing couldn't have been worse, because as outrage boiled over, Janelle was already speaking with legal advisors. And if she went public with everything she knew, Robyn's shopping spree might just end up in court. The timing couldn't have been more ironic. Just as fans were tallying up receipts and dissecting decor choices, TLC dropped a teaser for more Sister Wives content, but this time the footage felt different. There was no mention of polygamy, no sign of Mary, Christine, or Janelle, just Cody and Robyn smiling politely, talking vaguely about healing and new chapters. The rumor mill kicked in immediately. Was this a soft launch for a Cody and Robyn only spin-off? A rebrand? Damage control dressed in beige and throw pillows? Either way, it sent fans into a tailspin, because if anyone deserved a platform to tell their side, it wasn't the two people accused of draining the family coffers to play house. Behind the scenes, Janelle was reportedly weighing her options. She hadn't spoken publicly since the listing photos went viral, but insiders claim she'd already spoken to legal counsel, not about suing TLC, but about the division of assets. The Coyote Pass money, the shared accounts, the promise of equity that had never quite materialized.
And we all worked together to buy their cars, to help them, to pay them and stuff like that. Now we're all separate and nobody's helping with the younger children.
For years, Janelle had played the long game. She didn't scream on camera, she didn't storm off, but she kept track of every dollar, every broken promise, every moment Cody muttered, "Just wait a little longer," while pouring more into Robyn's lifestyle. And now, she had documentation, copies, statements, ledger notes in her own handwriting. What fans didn't know is that some of those documents may have already made their way to producers. Allegedly, a source close to production said that Janelle had flagged the spending months ago, before the house was even listed. She wasn't trying to blow things up yet, but she wanted accountability. And with the public now catching up, the pressure was on TLC to address the elephant, or maybe the bear sculpture in the room. Would the network acknowledge the backlash, or would they try to reframe Cody and Robyn as victims of internet hate? Either way, the power dynamic had shifted. For the first time in years, Janelle wasn't just surviving, she was holding the cards. And if she decided to speak on camera, to show fans exactly where the family's money went, and why she spent 2 years in a trailer while Robyn was commissioning doll gowns in satin, it would be the kind of TV that couldn't be spun, edited, or softened. Because this wasn't just drama anymore. This was about justice, and Janelle was just getting started. She hasn't posted anything dramatic. No tearful livestream, no 20-minute rant, but those who know Janelle say something's shifted. A quiet resolve, a sense of peace that only comes when you finally stop asking for fairness and start preparing to take what's yours. Rumor has it she's compiling everything: financial records, voice memos, texts, not to cause chaos, but to protect her future. And maybe, just maybe, to finally expose the truth about what went on behind closed doors, what was spent, what was promised, and what was taken from the women who built that family from scratch. And here's the most poetic part. While Robyn and Cody wander through their echoing McMansion, now stripped of most of its trinkets, packed up and ready for another reinvention, Janelle's the one with the receipts. She's the one fans trust. She's the one whose silence carries weight. Because through every dollar misspent, through every framed canvas and crystal figurine, the real currency was loyalty. And that, Cody can't buy back. This whole saga isn't just about money. It's about what happens when a woman gives and gives and gives, and finally decides she's done waiting. It's about how favoritism disguised as love turns into entitlement, and how entitlement leaves devastation in its wake. It's about how viewers, millions of them, watched a family fall apart in slow motion, only to realize the real betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was financial. It was strategic. It was cold. Now fans are left with questions. What else is sitting in storage units paid for by communal funds? Will Janelle go public with her records? And if Sister Wives is headed for a spin-off, is it finally time for the women who walked away to tell their unfiltered side? So here's our question for you. Do you think Janelle should publish what she found? Every transaction, every art piece, every diverted dollar? And what would justice actually look like for Christine, Mary, and Janelle, now that the secrets are out? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video on your screen is waiting. And trust me, you won't want to miss it.